Welcome back to the Attacking Football podcast. With 19 game weeks gone, what better time to do a team of the season so far?
Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football.
And welcome back to the podcast. This week we have Chris and Yasin, and we also have Alfie and the producer all once again. We're going to be doing our team of the season so far. How's everyone feeling?
Good, thank you. Good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, thank you. Apart from being 14th in the Premier League, I'm feeling good.
I hope you haven't tried to sneak in any Man United players, Alfie.
I've got 11.
Alfie did actually. I actually did ask Alfie for his team of the season, and the first thing he sent me was a full list of Manchester United players. And for some reason, he had the Euro on the left wing.
Yeah, I wasn't going to put Rashford or Garnacho when they don't deserve it, so I just thought Lenny can go there.
All right, so which one of you fellas wants to go first with your team? Who's feeling spiciest?
Go on, yes, and you go first there.
Okay. Actually, my team is not spicy at all. Scott knows that my team is very I tried to be as much as I actually didn't sneak in any United players.
He didn't.
No matter how much I did try to do it, I couldn't justify it to myself. So mine would be Sels as Nottingham Forest goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think that's sensible.
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
Nikola Milankovic. Forced to have the best defense in the league. They conceded the same goals as Arsenal.
Yeah.
So you have to take one of them. Gabriel, not because of his defensive abilities, but because how many points he won for Arsenal this season.
Yeah, them set pieces.
Anthony Robinson, I think is the best left back in the Premier League this season. Him and Kirkish, it was a very close for me, but I went with Robinson. In midfield, we have Moises Caicedo. I think he has been the best number 6 in the league this season. It was close between Caicedo and Gravenberch, but I prefer to go with Caicedo because it's mainly his natural position. We have on the right wing Salah, of course. He mainly... Yeah. And on the left wing, Matheus Cunha. It was close for me between him and Saka, but I didn't see Saka on the left wing, and you can put Saka on the right wing while you have Salah there. As two number 8s, we have Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
And my second one was... I think there are a lot.
Do you want me to help you out here? Because I have your list.
Yeah, what was my second one?
So your second one was Kulusevski.
Yeah, it was Kulusevski. Yeah. This was first of all, I did it as a tribute to Liam because he says all the time I'm not kind to him, so I try to be kind to him. But yeah, Kulusevski has had for me, he's the only bright spot in this atrocious Tottenham team.
Yeah.
And as a striker, it was so difficult because I think Nicholas Jackson deserves it. I think Chris Wood deserves it. I think Alexander Isak deserves it. But I went with the one who overperformed the most expectations. I went with Chris Wood.
Yeah, I think that's a solid team. Does anyone have any words there of any particular picks?
Nah, I thought that was a very strong team, to be fair. I think we started off quite well.
There's a lot of similarities between the two of us. I'm looking at my list, by the way. I think there's 3 maybe exceptions that I have that are different.
Yeah, so if whoever doesn't know, for people watching, I've been sent all the teams, and of course have my own teams. So I know who everyone's picked, and there is quite a lot of similarities. But I was surprised to see Yasin go with Kulusevski. I know Liam talks about him so much and how good he's been for Tottenham, but I just haven't really... I don't know if he's been team of the season so far standard.
I wouldn't have said he was team of the season so far. He's been good and he's been a revelation for Tottenham because it's exactly what they needed, but I wouldn't have put him down as team of the season.
I mean, the best players this season, or the ones I have noticed, it was very tough for me to choose 2 center backs because I don't think someone has been elite this season. You can always go to the easy option and insert Virgil van Dijk here. The guy is always good. But again, Chelsea, they change their center backs mostly every game. You have the Front Chuckle brothers, as Chelsea fans like to call them, because my brother also calls them that. Arsenal, you already have Gabriel, and they are not as solid defensively as they was last season. Most players who are having team of the season performances play in the same positions, like Salah and Saka. They're both right wingers. Isaac, Jackson, Wood, they're all strikers. Even the number sixes in the league, Rodri's already out. You have Caicedo and Gravenberch as your best two options. Nottingham doesn't play with a traditional six, they play with a double pivot more, so they don't have a number six. So it was very difficult actually to choose, because there are spots where there are a lot of players that are performing very good, and there are spots where there are players that you don't find one player who said, yeah, this. Even goalkeeper, it was difficult to find a goalkeeper who's having an exceptional season. I thought about putting Keller there, but again, you can't put a guy who played 10 games out of 19 in your team of the season. Raya, he's fine for Arsenal. Emiliano Martinez, same for Villa. So you go with the team with the best defense, which is
No
not.
shouts for Robert Sanchez, yes and no?
I mean, after what Jurgensen did on, I actually don't think it was.
He did nothing wrong. It was a dive.
Yeah.
I don't know how that was a penalty.
I was watching this game. I don't know how this one VAR didn't call it back till now, but whatever happens, happens. I actually didn't think Robert Sanchez is having a bad season by his standards. I mean, the guy didn't have any fault, any big mistakes in all games. But he's doing the job, more or less. Some bad passes here and there, some claims that don't go on, but he's not. He saved Chelsea in some games this season. He's actually had some good saves, and he had some games. Bournemouth game, he was the one responsible for Chelsea getting the 3 points, his penalty save. Brentford game, he saved like 2 clear goals. So he's having his moments, but there is no goalkeeper this season in the Premier League where you look at him and say, yeah, he has been exceptional this season. So you go with the one with the best defense in Nottingham.
Yeah, I think, not to put spoilers, but I think the Nottingham keeper comes up quite a few times here. So, Chris, do you want to go up with your team next?
Yeah. Second goals, I'd Sells as well.
Yeah.
I had a back four of Trent, Van Dijk, Milenkovic, and it was between Robinson, Kirkes, but I went actually for Cucurella. I think he's been a revelation at left back for us. He's transformed us this season. He's just been so good, so good. Midfield, Caicedo and Gravenberch. I'll put both of them in. You could say Gravenberch doesn't play an 8. Fight me, don't care. Palmer at the 10. And then right wing, Salah, obviously. Left wing, again, could have gone Cunha, could have gone Saka. Was tempted to put Isaac out there. I just put Mbeumo. I think he's him and Wissa, actually, to be fair. You can be twixing between the two of them. They've been unbelievable for Brentford. Brentford don't even miss Tony because the two boys have stepped up brilliantly. And then up top, as much as I wanted to put Nicholas Jackson, I had to go Chris Wood. He's been exceptional for Forest.
I mean, I don't want to point out the obvious here, but there's one very long-haired Spanish paella-eating man in that team that I think got a reaction from nearly everybody here.
I don't actually think he's that bad this season, barring his disastrous 15 minutes at the start of Tottenham game, where it was actually the problem of the shoes, not him.
But yeah, that wasn't down to his ability. I think that was just more down to luck. That was just shocking bad luck.
He's having a very good season. He's having a very good season for Chelsea, but you can just not put Anthony Robinson here. The guy has 7 assists from the left back.
Yeah, it was between him and Kirkes. It was really between them, and I probably got a bit biased on putting.
Yeah, there might have been a sprinkle of blue salt on that one.
Yeah. I wouldn't love anything more else in 25 than seeing Anthony Robinson roam that left wing back position for Manchester United, but it's not gonna happen. So let's move on from that.
Yeah, so I just want to not to spoil mine or Alfie's teams, but you were the only one to pick Mbeumo, and I don't think it's a bad show. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad show. I think he was a toss up for me, and I think there's just been I've 3 or 4 wingers, and I think any one of them could have been in. And I think Mbeumo is in with the shout there. So
yeah, well, I had
I
him
just
with.
want to say I don't think it's an outrageous show. I think it's a
Nah,
sensible one.
Yeah, he was-
and Buemo is a quality player. He's had a very good season.
Like, I
And
have a
I-
list of people who were left out, and Cunha is like the top of it. And it was
I don't.
between him and Mbeumo.
My issue is Mbuemo and Luisa, which is both I think are team of the season candidates. I can't settle into a position for them. For me, they're like Firmino. They are the shadow striker that can play on the wings, that can play as a striker. But where do you put them? I mean, can you put Roberto Firmino as a winger? No, you can't. Can you put him as an out-and-out striker? Also, no, you can't. Can you put him as a number 10? So the guy is very good. He's playing great. But where do I put you in the pitch? I mean, I think Mbuemo and Luisa work together. They complete each other, the way they play both as false nines, and they interchange their positions and all of that. I mean, I see Buemo is the Cameroonian national team in most African Cup of Nations, and he's just a normal player, as they say, not that elite. So the way they complete each other, both of them, I think you can't pick one out of the other. This is why I don't understand why a lot of people are shouting for United to go sign Buemo for that left forward position. I mean, they are good players, but the way they play in Brentford, how they interchange together, how they both play as false nines is what makes them both dangerous. If you take out one of them, I don't think it works as good as it's working right now.
But do you not think that if you took Mbeumo out of that Brentford team and you put him in another team, he could not come up with that same relationship with someone else?
I mean, Brentford plays in a way that is mostly different than most Premier League. When they had Ivan Toney, he was the one doing most of the production. They had Buemo and Luisa. Now, because they have Buemo and Luisa playing both as false nines, they can do that, but Brentford doesn't have a striker. So if you want to build that relationship, but the way they play the formation they play, there is no Premier League team that plays in that way. There is no Premier League team that plays in 2 strikers. It's like the 90s English Premier League football. One tall striker, physical, and one short, fast striker. Let's play long balls. The physical striker takes the long balls. The short striker goes on and scores. It's more of a 4-4-2 flat. And there is no Premier League team that plays it 4-4-2 flat in the Premier League. So
I think they should do. I think that's how football should be played. 4-4-2, crouchy in the throw up.
You haven't seen football when it was played by a
No, I haven't. I've seen Pep Guardiola 5,000 passes each game. It does my head in.
Actually, I used to like Barcelona before Pep Guardiola. This Barcelona team before Pep Guardiola was a very entertaining team to watch. The one that had Deco and Ronaldinho and Samuel. Guardiola came in and he won a lot, but his teams were so boring to watch. It was like they scored a goal, the goal is still replayed. You turn back into the live broadcast and you see the ball is with them also. I mean, did you kick off too, or what did you do? You are a very bored. I actually think the best version of Pep Guardiola was his Manchester City teams.
Yeah.
And none of them are in the team of the seasons because they're gone down the drink. So
I mean that the guy didn't lie. He promised that he's gonna learn from Russell Martin, and he did.
So nobody Guardiola so far. Nobody agree with Gary Neville. No. Right, so I suppose I'll go up next, and just like everyone, I do have good old Matt Sells in goal. I've gone with Liverpool duo Trent and Van Dijk at the back. Just might be Liverpool voice, but also not outrageous. And I've also gone with Gabriel because of just how important he's been for Arsenal, just even scoring goals, like mainly from set pieces. I don't think there's a defender in the league who's as dangerous as him. And then I've also gone with Robinson at left back. I just can't think you can't overlook the 7 assists he's got. There'll probably be about 6-7 Premier League teams
I mean,
after him.
You see Robertson every week, so
And I see Andy Robertson every week. I'd take James Milner at left back at this stage. And I've gone with Caicedo and both Gravenberch. I just think they've just been both unreal this season. I couldn't leave Gravenberch out as a Liverpool fan, and also just how this season's gone. I would have in our predictions podcast I had Liverpool third, and I said the only reason I haven't put us up for the title is because we didn't have a number 6, and the fact that Gravenberch just come in and basically being that number 6 is I think a big reason why we're fighting for that title right now.
If you had to pick between one of the two 6s,
if I had to pick between Casado and Gravenberch, I'd probably go Gravenberch.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and that might be a sprinkle of red salt on that one, but
Yasin as the as the only neutral here.
I mean, I had to pick between them, and I chose Caicedo.
He did actually.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I
he already
had to
did that.
pick between them because I think you and Scott, you went for 2 pivots. I didn't go for
Yeah.
2 pivots. I went for 1. It's more for me. I chose Caicedo because it's his natural position. Gravenberch is doing a fantastic job in playing at this position, but in some games you can see that he's not a natural fit there. He's doing the job in a very competent way, but in some games you can just notice it. This is not his natural fit.
Yeah, and then up next I do have Cole Palmer as well. And then I actually have the same front three as Yasin, Salah, Wood, and Cunha. I just think I was going to go in there, but then I think Cunha's got 10 goals, 4 assists while playing for like one of the worst teams in the league at the moment, Wolves. They've struggled all season, and the fact that he's got double digits in goals is quite impressive.
I mean, and before any of Arsenal fans jump at us, it wasn't easy to leave Saka out. I mean, he's having an outstanding season himself, but you just can't put him over Salah. There is no sane Arsenal fans that would come in and say, yeah, let's put Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka is having a better season than Mohamed Salah. No one is having a better season in the world.
But to be fair,
well, I found it easy to exclude
yeah,
Saka.
I was going to say I could have put him left wing if I wanted to, but
this might piss off you Arsenal fans, but I genuinely think that if you put James Ward-Prowse in the Arsenal team, he would have close to the amount of assists Saka has just from the corners.
He would have more actually because Arsenal doesn't have a natural. Saka and Rice can do this, but James Ward-Prowse is like a natural crosser. If you put David Beckham in this team, he would have 30 assists by now in the Premier League.
I just don't think Salah could do what Mbeumo or Cunha could do if Mbeumo and Cunha, if they swap places. Like if you put Saka down with Brentford or down with Wolves, I don't think he'd step up the way Mbeumo and Cunha have.
Like I might be showing poor ball knowledge here, but I'd say maybe like 80% of Saka's assists have probably come from a corner.
Yeah, I'd say they have to be fair.
But he also one of the things that I mean, Saka has been lifting Arsenal all over his back, especially when Odegaard was injured. If Saka was injured when Odegaard was injured, Arsenal would have been in the same place as Manchester United right now.
Yeah,
the referees started.
Yeah, maybe not that bad, but like
they won't be that bad. Like
I mean, it's what a 15-point gap, mostly set pieces anyway. So
okay, well, Alfie, you're the last one to give us your team.
And I'm the first.
Have you gone way? And just to preface, he's the only one who hasn't put Matt Telles in goal. Who do we reckon he's put in goal ever?
In goal. My keeper, I've got Jordan Pickford. Jordan Pickford in goal, my Premier League team of the season. And to be fair, I don't think it is outrageous. He saved 2 penalties. I think he's joint with his second most clean sheets. I think he's had a very good season. At right back, I've got a left back in Robinson because I just felt you'll hear my left back in a second. I just thought they both had to be in. My 2 centre backs, I've got Milenkovic and Van Dijk, and at left back I've got Kirkes. Midfield, I've gone for Gravenberch. So Gravenberch over Caicedo. And Caicedo's had a brilliant season, but I think what Gravenberch has done this season, and like Scott said, he didn't have Liverpool winning the league just because they didn't have a 6. And for Gravenberch to fill that role so well, I think he has to be in it. In front of him, I've got Palmer, and I'm with Yasin with Kulusevski. I've got Kulu in as well. And then my front 3, I've got Salah on the right, Cunha on the left, and Wood up top.
I mean, first of all, the obvious one there is Pickford. I'm a Pickford hater, and
all of us.
Pickford could have 38 clean sheets, never concede a goal, and I probably still wouldn't pick him in my team of the season. I don't know what everyone else feels about that Pickford show.
I don't hate it, but I think there was 2 or 3 ahead of him at least.
I don't know.
I don't hate it. I think Alfie has some good reasons. He saved 2 penalties. He has the most clean sheets in the league, but he also had some mistakes, some outrageous mistakes in some games. You can't overlook that. And if you're choosing someone for team of the season, you have to look at their team placement. What is their impact on their team in the season? I mean, Everton are 1 point above the relegation zone, so you can't
Yeah, but
choose their one player.
he's got the second most clean sheets, so I think you can just say that's because the attackers haven't been taking a chance.
I mean, but they have conceded a lot of goals too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they're not second like Nottingham Forest, or third like Nottingham Forest, are they? But I'd still have Pickford in.
Arsenal are the best defense in the league, not Forest.
Anyway, I won't say I'm shocked, but had Kelleher played a few more games, I would have had to put him in 100%.
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who I think we all know at this stage who did not rate Kelleher 6 months ago. But he's unfortunate to miss out. I think that he played a few more games, or I don't know why Alisson came back in and went straight into start. Like, apart from the Newcastle game, which looked like it could have been the end of Kelleher, but I thought he's been brilliant. I don't know why he got benched straight away.
I suppose it's one of them things, like, say Salah goes out injured and, I don't know, Chiesa actually played his game. Chiesa goes out on the right wing, and then maybe Chiesa has a good run of form. Even when Salah's fit, you have to put Salah back in. That's probably how that. But yeah, in goal, my toss-ups were Sels and Raya, and then I was either going to have Sels and Gabriel, or I was going to have Raya and Milenkovic, and I went with Sels and Gabriel. But yeah, the Pickford one, when Alfie sent that to me, I looked at my phone with a raised eyebrow. And then I think the other one there is that he's gone with 2 left backs instead of a right back.
Yeah,
I think Chris said himself he had a toss up between Robinson and Kirkes, and Alfie said, "I'm gonna have both."
And exactly, and I feel like if the teams played each other, even though I've got 2 left backs, I'd still win because I have Jordan Pickford in goal, so it'll be all right. I have a real keeper.
Yeah, but even Wayne would have scored in the first minute, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I mean, you can't ignore Trent Alexander-Arnold season 2. I know that Scott
is having a brilliant
fight with. I mean, Scott has some fight with Trent right now. Let's not get into that, but you can't ignore the season he's having.
I only put Trent in because it's going to be his last season in the Premier League team this season. Anyway,
maybe he doesn't even complete it, so who knows?
See, my toss-up was, I'll segue into this next one, is a couple of players who maybe could have squeezed in but didn't. See, I had a lot more trouble putting Trent in because I didn't know whether to pick Trent or Ola Aina.
Yeah, that was. I thought about him, but I think it would have been a bit much to say Forest have. Well, it would have been my team. They would have had a goalkeeper, a centre back, and a right back.
Yeah. So, was there any other players that you're surprised that haven't been even mentioned so far?
Murillo.
Yeah, Murillo's been having a good season.
Nicholas Jackson.
What about you, Yasin? Any players that you think should have been given at least a mention?
I mean, he's having a good season, but the numbers don't show it. Semenyo.
Yeah.
He's not having a good season, but the numbers do show it. Erling Haaland still the top goal scorer in the Premier League.
No, I think it's Salah right now, isn't it?
Yeah, but Salah. Salah is
was.
Yeah. I think Isaac's been unfortunate to miss out, and I think that's mainly due to Chris Wood. Even though Isaac does have an extra goal over him, it's just you don't expect Nottingham Forest to be where they are, and Chris Wood has been a big part of that.
I also think that some players who are worth mentioning are that Newcastle midfield trio.
Yeah.
The 3 of them are monsters. Bruno Guimaraes, or however we are gonna call him, since Newcastle settled on Guimaraes, Tonali, and Joe Linton, they're all fit and they're all play. They have been in very good form.
Tonali's only coming into form the last couple of games.
Yeah.
It's only the last 5 or 6 that he's really started to bounce. Like, there was a time before that where he was getting dropped for what's his name, Willock.
Tonali?
Yeah.
He wasn't fit.
No, he wasn't fit. Yeah, that's true as well. He
wasn't fit. He was coming back from his 1-month suspension. He was fit. I mean, Newcastle are just 3 points behind Chelsea.
They are as well. Yeah.
They are 3 points behind Chelsea. They are having a very good season. And this midfield trio is, I think they are them and Chelsea, depending on who lines up with Caicedo and Palmer, they are the best midfield trio in the Premier League.
Yeah, I
Speaking
think
of that, I thought Enzo Fernandez, I have him down as an extra, someone to be mentioned. He's never going to make it in, but I have him there as someone to be mentioned. Like ever since his off-field struggles got settled, he's been a revelation. To be fair, like he's chipping in with goals and assists now. He's dictating play. Him and Caicedo starting to look like the 200 million or whatever figure the media slapped on them.
Yeah, he went on a mad run of like it was like 4 games or something. He had like 8 assists or something. Even though like 5 of them came in a Conference League game, but still,
yeah, he got 3 against Noah, didn't he?
Yeah, but in the Prem, he's still been good. Like,
yeah, well, this podcast might be a little premature. We're only 25 minutes in so far because my next section was ruined by the fact that pretty much everyone nearly picked the same team. We're gonna do the joint team of the season. So it's anyone who had at least 3 picks between all 4 of us was going to get in, and unfortunately the whole team was filled out. So I'll just read you off who we have selected as our joint team of the season. In goal we have decided Sells. At left back we have decided Robinson, and then it's Milenkovic and Van Dijk as the 2 centre backs. Trent is at right back. Caicedo, Gravenberch and Palmer make up the midfield, and then up front it's Cunha on the left, Wood up top, and Salah on the right. So that was meant to be a 15-minute segment, just finished in a minute.
There was no argument, nothing.
We still have a lot of things to talk about. I mean, this January is already starting very intense. You have the Rashford issue. You have Real Madrid's supposed offer for Trent Alexander-Arnold. You have Aston Villa already doing a deal for Daniel Malin. There are a lot of transfers that seem to be brewing. I mean, one of our best friends has said after one game that United have a club lined up for Marcus Rashford. When he hears that, he will know. He will know that I'm talking about him. But do you think Trent Rashford leaves? Do you think Trent Alexander-Arnold leaves? What do you think about Liverpool trio? Are they staying or leaving? All of them?
Well, on Trent, I think I'm not sure at the moment. I think it's a lot of mixed noise. On the Spanish side, it's all he's decided on Real Madrid, and then on the English side, it's he hasn't said anything to Real Madrid. He's still negotiating with Liverpool, and it's kind of like which side do you want to believe? A lot of the Spanish media, like Margaret, are occasionally mouthpieces for Real Madrid. Even during the Mbappe saga, I think a year before he signed, they were doing reports saying Mbappe's already agreed he's signing a contract this summer, and then it didn't happen. It happened the next summer. So I don't think you can believe everything coming out of Spain, and I also don't think you can believe everything coming out of England. I think the truth lies in the middle somewhere.
But
I think Trent is undecided, but I also don't think he's given Real Madrid his word either. I think he's still negotiating with Liverpool, but he's also undecided on whether to sign a contract or try a new challenge.
But I mean, even in that Mbappe saga, I still remember that David Ornstein himself published an article saying that Mbappe decided to join Real Madrid, and then after that, by 1 or 2 weeks, he renewed with Paris Saint-Germain. So I believe the Spanish media are mouthpieces for Real Madrid, especially the Madrid-based media market and all that. But I also think that they don't push a story in the media. Real Madrid specifically doesn't push a story in the media that hard, except if they have some sort of tacit, I wouldn't say an approval or a word, but a tacit approval for the player. It was like, I think what my personal opinion about it, I think Trent wants to go to Madrid, but he doesn't want to leave Liverpool in the middle of the season where they're fighting for the Premier League and the Champions League. And let's be honest about it, Bradley is a good player, but he's not. But he doesn't replace Trent Alexander-Arnold or what Arnold provides to this team. And he doesn't want to leave for free.
Yeah.
So you are in a position right now, if you renew with Liverpool, you are basically telling Real Madrid I'm not coming. If you don't renew with Liverpool and continue the season, you're living on a free. If you leave right now, you bring Liverpool a fee to find a replacement, but you don't help them in winning the league and the Champions League if they can. And the worst thing is that you may even have to face Liverpool in the final of the Champions League with Real Madrid. So I think he put himself in a very tough position, because right now I am someone who like I said, if it was a Manchester United player born, I would be mad. But I would understand the urge to go to Real Madrid. I mean, in the end, it's Real Madrid. You have to play there somewhere. If you have the chance, you don't reject it. But in the same time, I can understand what Liverpool feel. We are in the middle of the season. At least don't leave for a free. Bring us a fee to find a replacement and so on. But what he should do, the best thing scenario for me would be 1 year renewal, and Liverpool takes a lower fee for him, like 50 million or something, and all parties gain, and he joins Madrid from the summer. This is for me what it's gonna be. But here you have to look at Madrid and say, are they willing to pay money for him? Because
See,
they
I
did
think
this with Mbappe. Their supposedly 160 million offer who they submitted on the last day of the window to just show him, yes, we are interested, we want to sign you. And what they're doing right now is coming from the same playbook of the transfer.
See, I think some of the discontent from Liverpool fans towards Trent at the moment is it seems that he's manufactured this situation in advance. So like when the last time we did our mass like contract renewals, I think Alisson got a 6-year contract, someone else got a 5-year contract, whereas Trent got a 4-year contract. And you think for the player of his age and being from the city and stuff, you think he'd be given the 5-6-year contract. And so from the outside looking in, it feels like he specifically asked for a 4-year deal so that this type of moment would come and he could end up leaving.
I mean, even if he leaves, he has achieved everything with Liverpool that someone can achieve. He won the Premier League, he won the Champions League, he won the Club World Cup, and so on. So it is in his right to try and find a new challenge. I would think it's smart that he signed a 4-year contract, even if Liverpool fans are discontent, because right now he's in his prime. I mean, we find players stuck with 6-7-year contracts. Chelsea are the best ones to talk about that anyway. 9 and 10 years contracts, but now he is in his prime. He's gonna be like 25 or 26. He can go play for Madrid for like 6-7 more years, and he would have achieved maybe everything with one of the biggest clubs in England, if not the biggest, and one of the biggest clubs in Spain, if not the biggest. So he would have had a good career. He doesn't have anything more to achieve with Liverpool. This is what I'm saying, so you can understand this point of view. On the other hand, for me, Salah, I think Salah, if he wasn't 32, he wouldn't have accepted what Liverpool are doing right now. If he wouldn't have been 32, if he knows that no club in Europe would sign him for... I mean, he's the best player in the world this season, but can you really bet on him being that player next season too?
Yeah, I think the Salah thing at the moment, I firmly believe it's not a case of money. I think it's a case of contract length. I believe that the club are probably only offering like a 1 or 2 year extension, or maybe he wants 3.
I think he does want 3, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think that's what's holding up, and I think eventually, I think it will be. I think one side is gonna. It's like a game of chicken right now, where they're shooting the arrow up in the air. Both parties are there in the center. The arrow's gonna land on one of them unless they move, and I think that's what's gonna happen. I think eventually one side is gonna move.
I don't understand why Liverpool just don't offer him the 3-year contract. If he goes downhill in a year or 2 time, Liverpool can turn around and say, well, look, we were right. Saudi Arabia, because they will pay any amount of money to take Salah. They 100% will. He will be massive over there. I know every team's full of their certain policy they're allowed, but someone gets shipped off to make room for Salah.
No, and there is 1.5 million Egyptians in Saudi Arabia. He is gonna be huge here. He's gonna be huge there. But the thing is, what I read in the Egyptian media regarding the Salah chess game, as Scott was saying, He basically wants a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
And what Liverpool are offering right now is the 1+1.
Yeah.
And I understand from Salah's point of view that he thinks he's gonna be fit for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
But I also understand it from a Liverpool perspective. I can't guarantee you having £400 per week and just sitting on my bench like Casemiro in Manchester United, for example, not doing anything.
Yeah.
And how many years is Salah is gonna be able to play in this level? I mean, this is the best we have ever seen of him. I don't think even Salah in his prime years,
Yeah.
3-4 years ago, was at this level.
Yeah, it is definitely the best Salah we've ever seen. I think as you said, he's looking for 3, and the club are only giving him a 1+1. I think eventually he'll probably fall into being they'll offer him a 2+1 deal.
I think this is gonna be the best compromise, a 2+1. What I read also is that Liverpool are willing to offer the 3, but with a decreasing amount of money, which
Yeah.
is understandable.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think they are both in the right. Salah thinks he can be, and what we are seeing right now is a player who can stay at this level for 2-3 years more.
Yeah.
And Liverpool are right to protect themselves. I mean, you have a club 40 miles away from you that has £450 Casemiro. They can't get rid of him, for example.
Yeah.
And but also Liverpool has to take into consideration the point that Chris said. You can anytime sell him to Saudi Arabia. I mean, Salah would always be welcome to be sold in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And then I'm moving on to Van Dijk. I think that's just a matter of when, not if. I think that I believe something's already been agreed there, and I think it's just a matter of when it gets announced at this stage. I don't think that's anything that Liverpool fans should worry about. I think Van Dijk is probably the easiest out of the 3 to get done.
But why would Van Dijk be the? I mean, Van Dijk is in the same place as Salah.
No, but I think it's a lot different because I think centre backs they can play up into their 38s, 39s. There's been plenty of centre backs over the years who've done that to a high level. John Terry, Thiago Silva, like these are elite centre backs that have been able to, because these are centre backs who didn't rely on pace, and I don't think Van Dijk relies on pace. It's more about Van Dijk was good because his positioning was good, and that's not something that usually deteriorates with age. And so I think
if you give Van Dijk a 3-year contract with £350 per week, what's gonna be the reaction of Salah? You have to take that into consideration because Salah wouldn't like it, and it's understandable that he wouldn't like it. I mean, he and Van Dijk are on the same place in this Liverpool team. So if you come in Van Dijk, who's the same age as Salah, and tell him, oh, there's a 3-4 year contract, and you are the highest paid player, the first thing Salah would ask, I want the same as Van Dijk deal, which is his right to. So
it's also
I
harder
don't know
to
why.
replace Van Dijk than it is to replace Salah. I'll stand by that. You can replace Salah a lot quicker than you'll replace Virgil van Dijk.
This version of Salah, you can't replace it.
But you can replace Salah's goals and output quicker than you can replace Van Dijk's defensive and leadership and everything he brings to the pitch. And to the club in general. Like, he's captain now. He's nearly one of the first names. He is the first name on the team sheet. Him, Trent, and Salah. I know all of them are, but Trent, he'll come and go, whatever goes on. Salah, you just need to replace his goals. You can have this argument till the cows come home, whether he's good technically or not. You find someone to replace his goals, you're sorted. Van Dijk, it's very hard. Like, we're still trying to replace John Terry, and he was 10 years ago.
Where do you find someone who gives you 50 goals per season, 50 goal contribution per season, goals and assists? It's not easy to find that replacement.
Where do you find someone that's as good as Van Dijk, apart from Arsenal's 2 centre backs?
I don't think you can replace Salah man for man, but I think you can get someone in who would help the front line, and I think then that someone could help spread Salah's output across the whole front 3.
But the problem
there's no man for man replacement you can get for Mohamed Salah.
The problem with Liverpool front line, barring Diego Jota when he's fit to play, is that they are all inconsistent in front of goal. You can't rely on one of them as a source of goal contributions every game. I mean, if Salah got injured right now, I don't think you would feel good about Liverpool chances of winning the Premier League.
Well, I think now we're seeing, since Gakpo's been moved out to the left wing, I think we're starting to see his goal scoring ability out from there. He's scored quite a few goals ever since Diaz has been shifted into as like the false 9 type role, and Gakpo's finally out on the left rather than in midfield or up top.
But if you took Van Dijk out of the team, yes, and yeah, definitely I'd count Liverpool out for the title if Van Dijk got injured. 100%. Who has to come in? Diarra Quanta, Joe Gomez. Like, come on, seriously. No, I had two okay defenders in their own rights, not near as good as Van Dijk.
But
Nobody is.
you can build a team good defensively without a Van
Yeah.
Dijk. I mean, Jose Mourinho built the best defensive
Yeah, but then
team
you're
at United
sacrificing the other end of
with
the
Phil
pitch.
Jones and Chris Smalling as his center backs. You can build a very solid team defensively without having that elite center back. But to replace 60 goals per season contributions, I mean, what is the worst for Salah in Liverpool? 45 per season, maybe. How do you replace that? Especially that Liverpool don't have that type of forward that I look at Gapco, I look at Diaz, I look at Nunez. They are good players. I, for one, love Darwin Nunez, but these guys don't give you the consistency that any one of them can put 40, 45 goal contributions per season. I mean, it's like Chelsea. It all comes through Cole Palmer. If he's injured, Chelsea will score, but will they score with the same amount of goals? Will they have the same contribution? And there are some things that we all need to take into consideration. The respect that Salah commands from other defenses. If you take him off, there is no one defense. His presence on the pitch creates space for others. If you take that off from the team, if you take his goal contributions, I mean, you can build a solid team defensively, and I have seen enough from Slot to think he can build a good, solid team defensively without Virgil van Dijk. Would it be as elite as it now? Can Liverpool play the same high line, the positioning? No, but they are still gonna be a good team defensively if you change, if you make some tweaks in your structure, and you find a number 6 who's elite in this, like Caicedo or someone, or Rodri, for example. But can you take Salah goals out of this team and expect this team to score 150 goals per season or 100 plus goals per season? I don't think so. It's a very difficult equation for Liverpool. And who you renew first? It's another, because if you renew Van Dijk first with a 4-year contract on 300k wages per week, you have to give that to Salah. You can't stand on Salah in front of Salah and say, no, we are not gonna give you that because you're old. You have to do that with Salah. And I think this is what is delaying the Van Dijk deal. They want to conclude the Salah deal first. This is my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point that I never thought of before. Like, if both players are in similar situations, you don't want to show your hand with one player and you're forced to do the same with a different player when maybe you want to give separate deals. Like, so maybe the club want to do a 2+1 with Van Dijk, but they want to do a 1+1 with Salah. They can't go and give the 2+1 to Van Dijk and then Salah comes saying, okay, then why can't you do that with me?
Yeah, I don't understand why Liverpool have let their 3 best players contracts run to this place without even trying to renew them. It was very strange from Liverpool, to be honest.
Yeah,
very strange to let this 3 in the same time run. I mean, you can find the Liverpool team next season without Van Dijk, Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, which is basically
it's a completely different team.
It's you are rebuilding your team from the start, and already you have Robertson, who's done. You can't rely on Gravenberch to be as good as he is next season in the number 6. You don't know. Sometimes players have one good seasons in a position and disappear. Your front line, barring Diego Jota, is inconsistent in front of goal. It was, I don't know, it was a very bad management from, it was a Manchester United-esque management from Liverpool of this country, of this contract situation.
Yeah, a part of me thinks that it's maybe the club were in talks with Van Dijk, Salah and Trent about contract situation, and the Klopp news came out, and it kind of, their agents are sat there saying, hang on, wait a minute, let's see what happens with Liverpool now that Klopp's gone, and then we'll negotiate, because we don't want to sign under the premise of Liverpool under Klopp, and then a new manager comes in and it's a completely different team who are struggling to get Champions League football, who maybe even struggling to get European football at all. So I think that could be a part of the reason why those deals have gone this far.
Maybe it's a good point, but I mean, Salah didn't have a good second half of the season. Also, the past year, all of Liverpool team, to be honest, Liverpool were not a good, not as good in the second half of the season. So this is why Liverpool management maybe have betted on the idea that Salah won't be on the same level again, and him leaving won't hurt the fans on a free. I don't know. It was. I mean, they are now.
Yeah, but now it's completely backfired, and now Salah is better than he's ever been, and he'll.
Yeah, it's.
And
they are in
all the fans want him to stay. Salah said he wants to stay. It's kind of like it's one of them situations where like just get him to stay.
Yeah, and Salah is putting huge pressure on Liverpool board through his statements in the media.
Yeah, and so we've talked about the Liverpool ads, so let's just wrap this up. We mentioned before. What about Marcus Rashford? What's happening with Marcus Rashford?
I mean, we could start with Chris. Tell us, what do you think?
It looks like he's gone from the outside looking in. Personally, I don't like. Personally, think United are better off cashing. Just get rid, because he's sulked or whatever, and Amarin doesn't like him, and Amarin's had a go at him, and Ten Hag had a go at him, and whoever was before that had a go at him. Like, he's just constantly been in the media. Whether that's through his fault or anyone else's, we don't know. Yeah, everyone has a different view of him, but at this stage, if you're going to do this rebuild and do it properly, just completely get rid of him, like you did with Ronaldo. You should have just that's it. Go, good luck, get rid of him. Bye. Best of luck to you. He'll be remembered as an icon or a legend, whatever you want him to be remembered, as a cult hero if he's like. But if I'm United, I'm cashing in, get money for him, move on. Just, you have to move on from the rut at some stage.
Yeah, I think that if Amram was brought in the summer, even, I don't think Rashford would even be at the club right now. I think it's a case of he fit into Ten Hag's front three. He fit on that left hand side, and United were struggling financially. They could only go into certain positions and spend money in, so they couldn't afford to let Rashford, one of their only left-sided players, to leave. And then but now Amram's come in. I don't really see where Rashford fits. I don't think he's great as a striker. I'm not sure he can play as one of the tens, and putting him at wing back, just, I don't know if he has the work rate to play at wing back.
Yeah, I agree. For me, as a United fan, I think if we sold Rashford in the summer or January, I think for the first time ever, I wouldn't be gutted. I'm so just want Amarim to do well. I want to see the manager succeed for once, and just no this bullshit from the players that we've had to deal with for years. If he doesn't want to be here, if he doesn't want to train, let him go. We'll take the money, and if he doesn't fit in Amarim's plans, I'm fully confident in selling him.
What about you, Yasin? What's your thoughts on Rashford?
I mean, I mostly agree with Alfie. I don't see how he fits in this 3-4-3. You can play Rashford as a wing back anyway. He's not a touchline winger. Even if you play him as a wing back, he was never the type of touchline winger who can hold the widths. So you can play him as a wing back. He's not a striker. I have never seen Rashford as a striker. I mean, he can play there in some games where you are relying on counter-attacking and so on. And I don't see how he fits in that number 10 position. But my question would be, how do you cash in? Who has the financial capability to pay 50 million pounds for Michael Rashford? Because let's be clear, Rashford is a 27-year-old English winger who proved he can do it on the Premier League level. I mean, the guy is number 8 on Manchester United top scorer list in the Premier League. So he proved he can do it in the Premier League. He proved he can do it on the top level. So if you put him in the right environment, you have one of the best wingers in the world there. If you put him in an environment where he doesn't feel like he belongs, you have the version we are seeing right now. So who has the financial capability to pay, let's say, 50 million? This 50 million may be a bargain in 2-3 years if Rashford goes somewhere and does his best, like what United paid for Van Persie. Who has the financial capability to cover 300k per week, pay United 50 million pound, and has a need for Marcus Rashford in their squad? I mean, you can make a case for Liverpool and Manchester City, but United are not selling to neither Liverpool or Manchester City. You could make a case for Arsenal, but I don't think United are selling for Arsenal too. Chelsea, maybe, but are Chelsea willing to destroy their wage structure that they built and pay 60 million pound for Marcus Rashford, for example? Because let's be honest, if you're going to sell in the Premier League, you have to put tax on it. You can't sell him in the Premier League for 30 million pound. Outside of the English Premier League, you have Bayern Munich. I don't see why they would need him. You have Barcelona, who may need him but don't have the place or the money or the financial capability to register any player. You have Real Madrid, who has no need for him, and you have Paris Saint-Germain, who nobody knows what they're doing in any time of the year on any transfer window. So I don't see how he leaves Manchester United. I mean, I agree with the idea. If he's not in Amorim plans, let him go. But how do you let him go? To who you sell him? That's the issue here. He doesn't want to go to Saudi. He's not going to USA if he doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. So where does he go? I mean, the only way you can just try to do sort of a Victor Osimhen deal, loan him to Galatasaray or Fenerbahce in Turkey, a club like that, just hoping he goes there, recover his form, and you can cash in the summer. But if you let him go, we already seen how toothless United in front of goal are. How are you bringing a replacement? You already need left wing. If there is any money in January, it's gonna be spent on a left wing back.
Yeah, so I completely agree. There's not many places Rashford could go, but it seems he wants to go, the club wants him to go. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But anyways, that's all we have time for this week's podcast. Thanks to Chris for joining us, thanks to Yasin for joining us, and thanks Ralphie for sitting in the producer's chair once again. And we'll see you next week.
Good luck.